and you're going to Tom is going to talk about energy use in domestic buildings. Is that right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, that is right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's make the biggest noise possible that has ever been made in the history of humanity for domestic energy use. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
No cheating. Hi. I'm going to start tonight with a confession. It's not good to have too many secrets, and we've all got our faults, so I'm just going to come out with it. I'm Tom Kane, and I'm an engineer. So actually I'm a building physicist, which is good because it sounds so much cooler. I've been for a long time in denial of the fact that I was an engineer. I always thought that if I wanted to be cool, interesting, if I wanted to get girls, I should really be a bit more arty, you know. So I grew my hair long, tried to read philosophy books, tried to learn guitar. Actually, I'm pretty good at guitar. and I formed a band. And obviously, all this was before I watched Big Bang Theory. But the problem with being in a band is it doesn't pay any money, so you have to get a job. And I just want to tell you a little bit about this job that I had, which really shows the lengths that I would go to avoid being an engineer. Now, for 7 years I worked at the county council, and it was my job to charge people, or to calculate how much people owed the council when they died in residential care. This is the truth. So let's just summarise. It was my job to wait until your gran died, send a letter to your mum demanding your inheritance. This was not an uplifting job, and it was boring, dead boring. I just had a thought while I was sitting down. One of the things I needed to get out of this job. And so every week I'd look at the jobs on offer at the county council, and one of the ones that always amused me was this. It was called Teenage Pregnancy Coordinator. This is not a line. I just imagined, you know, oh yeah, you with her, yeah, brilliant. Let's get some teenage pregnancy going. But I didn't fancy my chances with that one, so I went back to school, and I thought I'd do a master's degree, and I signed up to a master's degree called Climate Change and Sustainable Development, because you know that's nothing to do with engineering, and that might be cool enough. Anyway, it turns out this was just a cunning ruse to convince people to study buildings, energy in buildings. I was sucked in. Bastards. So anyway, I kind of enjoyed it, and at the end of it I thought, oh yeah, I want to carry on doing some study, so I looked at what I should do, and I thought, oh yeah, well, social sciences, that would be alright. And then I learned something that would change my life forever: epistemology. I looked and I did some reading. I thought, what kind of PhD do I want? And then I got this revelation, this realisation: epistemology. Fucking bollocks. I am an engineer. We do science. And I do not need to know about the nature and the scope of fucking knowledge to know how hot your house is. Which is what I do. I do building physics and building engineering, and one of my areas of interest is indoor temperatures, how hot your house is. So I don't care about all this stuff, but I do want to know if you're fiddling with your knobs, you know, on your boilers and stuff. And also I'm quite interested to know if you're wearing a woolly jumper or a solar power bikini. What's next? Oh yeah, so energy use in buildings. We all know that we need to use less energy in buildings because of climate change, and if we don't avert the dangers of climate change, millions of people will die. But also less on a big picture. If buildings overheat in the summer because it's increasing heat waves and there's not enough ventilation, that puts lives at risk as well, and millions of people could die. And equally, in the winter, if we don't insulate our homes, if people can't afford to heat them, millions of people could die. I am the Jack Bauer of building energy use. Who's cool now? So how do we do this research? Well, we go into real homes with real people, and we put monitoring equipment in. We monitor the temperature, we monitor gas consumption and electricity use. And but the problem with real homes is real people live in them, and people are strange. And they have some perception problems. So one example of that is I was in a home quite recently, and there people were telling me, oh, we don't use much energy. We're really low energy users. But there I was slopping on my factor 50 to try and protect me from the radiation from their lights. Ridiculous. Another example was a friend of mine did a research project. He was monitoring some energy use in a home, and he came across this old man who was such a Scrooge. He was so tight, he refused to use any energy for anything. And when the results came back, it turned out that 50% of his energy use powered his pump for his fish pond in his garden. just imagine there's this guy cowering over a candle. He's freezing. The only lights he's got is from this candle, and his fish are luxuriating. It's unbelievable. So the problem with running these projects is they're extremely expensive, and the government are insistent that we work in multidisciplinary teams. So engineers like myself, proud engineers, we have to talk to social scientists and economists and building and computer scientists and designers. And the problem with this is that we use a lot of the same words, but we absolutely do not speak the same language. And nor do we care about the same things. An example of this, I was on the bus coming home one day from work, and my phone rang. I thought, oh, just a minute, that's a bit strange. I'm an engineer, people don't want to speak to me usually. And it was one of my social science colleagues, and he said, Tom, I'm really worried. What are you doing? You're really screwing with the sampling matrix. Who do you think I am? Keanu Reeves. And he was starting to sound really angry, and I was getting a bit worried. What have I been doing? I've been messing up this £1.5 million research project that I'm working on. And I just didn't know what I was going to say. And he said this. He said, Tom, we have too many houses with cats. Cats? What the fuck? People in real homes have cats. Thank you very much.